You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. I know, as we start this, that there are those of you who completely disagree with me on the quarterbacks. There's those of you who very much agree with me on the quarterbacks. And most of you will not have your mind changed no matter what. So I understand that part of this is just obligatory. I've got to sit here and talk about quarterbacks because it's a thing a lot of you are talking about. And I tell you often, I don't do this show for me. I do the show for you. I talk about the things that you are talking about, you want to talk about, you want to hear about. When T-Bob and I were doing Whiskey and Wine, there were a lot of people who were criticizing Jayden Daniels. I am unemotional about it anymore. Like, I'm not moved. I understand that there are those of you who want Garrett Nussmeier to be the quarterback. There are those of you who want Jayden Daniels to be the quarterback. And if you are firmly entrenched on either side of that, nothing can happen that's going to change your mind. You have drawn that line in the sand. You are someone who is now looking for an affirmative piece. We talked about this a lot during the LSU baseball season, where there were people who were convinced the bullpen sucks, and every time they blew a save or someone gave up a hit, it was just affirming your point, and you ignored anything to the contrary. You got to look at a big picture, a bigger sample. At least I do, and I will. So I understand. There's some of you that don't want Jayden Daniels to be the quarterback. I get it. And nothing I say here is going to change your mind. But let's just go through what transpired on Sunday night. First of all, here was Jayden after the game taking responsibility for the struggles in the second half.
I mean, everything falls on me. What Coach was talking about, the urgency and the choices that we make. I mean, he's right. Everything, that falls back on me. You know, being the leader and the quarterback of the team, I got to get the guys going. I got to set the urgency. I got to set the tempo. First half, we had that. You know, we got to finish the drives that we had in the red zone. You know, that set us back a little bit. But coming out of halftime, you know, it starts with me and getting the guys going. And that first drive, I felt like we had some urgency. But in critical moments, you know, I got to get the guys going. I got to set the tempo. I got to be able to push those guys because everybody's looking at me and how I maneuver day in and day out on a daily basis. You know, I got to go back to the drawing board as a leader and see what can I do better to get this team also more prepared on a day-to-day basis.
I can certainly respect him taking ownership. He's a fifth-year senior. He's the quarterback. He's the veteran. He's the leader. You own the mistakes. It's going to play well in the locker room. I get it. First play that LSU had in the second half, Jayden Daniels, they ran the zone read. He ran for 15 yards. Beautiful play. Then he threw a complete pass to Malik Neighbors for 9 yards. Then to Mason Taylor on the right side, Mason Taylor on the left side for 8 yards, and you're moving. You're moving. Trey Bradford, 4-yard run. You throw a screen pass to Malik Neighbors. He's tackled at the line of scrimmage. You got 3rd and 6. Beautiful play design. No, I'm sorry. Yes, you got 3rd and 6 right now, and you're at the 47-yard line. You're right at midfield. You're at the Florida State 47. And Jayden Daniels being pressured, he rolls, and he throws the ball over the middle, and it hits Kyron Lacey in the hands, and he drops it. His 3rd drop of the day. For those who are going to criticize Jayden Daniels, the thing that I'll say and continue to say is, show me where, when this team stalled, he needed to be better. You're in a tie ball game. You have a chance to go retake the lead. Remember, at this point, 2-minute offense, you've dominated the first half. You run the 2-minute drill to perfection. You get the field goal. You're up 3. Florida State gets the ball to start the second half. You came up with 4 consecutive stops in the first half before Florida State tied you at 14. You get the field goal to go up 17-14. Your defense holds them to a field goal to start the second half. You're tied. You're moving the ball. You're into Florida State territory. Beautiful pass by Jayden. Drop. Okay. You give Florida State the ball. They go score. Now they're up 24-17. We saw this in the first half. You move the ball. You stall out at the goal line. Unfortunately, they get the ball. They go score. You're down 7-0. Your response, boom, right down the field, and you score an equalizer. It felt like you could exhale at that point. So it's like, okay, go do it again. Go do exactly what you did in the first half. First down, boom, 13 yards to Malik Neighbors. Then Jayden gets sacked. They run Josh Williams for 3 yards. It's 3rd and 11. They're off sides. 3rd and 6. Beautiful play design. They have Mason Taylor dragging across. They roll Jayden. He hits Mason Taylor, 1st down. You're at the 48-yard line. You're just shy of midfield. And you go tempo, and you get up, and you throw a deep ball down the left sideline to Brian Thomas, who's open, and he drops it. And I know some of you are going to say, well, he needs to lead him. He needs to put It's a scholarship receiver. Catch the ball. On Florida State's first possession of the game, Jordan Travis had Johnny Wilson, a 6'7" receiver, open over the middle, and he threw it low and away at his knees. You know what Wilson did? It was on 3rd down, by the way. He caught the ball for 12 yards and moved the chains. Catch the ball. Catch the ball, and now you have a goal to go. He either scores or you have a goal to go situation to start the 4th quarter to go tie the game. Instead, that's the last play of 3rd quarter. You go to the 4th quarter. First play of the 4th quarter, Malik Neighbors falls down. Interception. Florida State capitalizes. You're down 14. And for all intents and purposes at that point, the game was over. Here was Jayden Daniels on that interception after the game.
Malik just slipped. I mean, it is what it is. He slipped, lost his footing. A DB made a play, caught the interception, turned his head, and it's something that we just gotta live and die with. It was football. Somebody's gonna slip and fall. The DB's gonna make a play, but after that, it's how did we respond back to that? And we didn't respond back in the right way.
So you're down at that point after they scored. You're down 31-17. You're down 14 points, and you never got going again. You had to go for it on a 4th down. You didn't convert. They scored, and the game was over. I know there's people who are going to say, why not Nussmeier? I want to be clear again because I know there are people who will think this is coming across as anti-Garrett Nussmeier, which I'm not. I think Garrett Nussmeier is a very talented player, and I think when his opportunity comes, I hope he's very, very good for LSU. If I'm just looking objectively at your 2 quarterbacks right now, based on what we saw on Sunday, putting Garrett Nussmeier into the game into that game would have been an awful idea. Jayden Daniels' ability to run the football is a neutralizer whenever the offensive line isn't blocking and when you have no running game. If LSU had a great wall of China in front of the quarterback, this is a different conversation because you could establish the run to take pressure off the quarterback and you could protect the quarterback. The offensive line, which my hand's in the air, we all praised, allowed 5 TFLs, 4 sacks, and 2 quarterback hurries. Your running game, outside of Jayden Daniels, who was your leading rusher, 15 attempts for 64 yards, and that's not even sack adjusted. That's after the yardage he lost on sacks, which was 26 yards. So really, if you take away the sack yardage, Jayden Daniels actually ran for 90 yards in the game. Anyway, your running backs in the game, outside of the draw in the 2-minute drill from Josh Williams, which you can't take away, it's part of the running game. But when you tried to establish the run between the tackles, your running backs had 11 carries for 14 yards. Garrett Nussmeier would have been a sitting duck with no running game and a leaky offensive line. And oh, by the way, in his career, he's known to be a turnover-prone guy. Garrett Nussmeier in his career has 6 interceptions in 141 attempts. Jayden Daniels a year ago had 3 interceptions in 388 attempts. So Garrett has twice the number of interceptions in half the number of attempts. Why would you put that guy out there in that spot? A guy who's turnover prone against a defense with a veteran defensive line who's bringing a ton of pressure, and you have no running game to support him. And he's not the guy, the runner that Jayden is dynamically that can make you pay if you bring pressure and don't get home. So, no. There was no reason to play Garrett Nussmeier in that game last night. And there's not going to be any reason to play Garrett Nussmeier all season unless, I'm going to keep saying this, unless Jayden Daniels is injured, God forbid, or like what you're going to be against Grambling, up 5 touchdowns. So, I don't think that this conversation right now is going to convince any of you. Okay, just to be very clear, I know there's a lot of you listening right now who want Garrett Nussmeier to be the quarterback. And I'm telling you, that's not going to happen. And I also understand that me saying this is not going to convince you. I understand that. But hopefully you could at least look objectively and see why the problem last night, the problem in the loss to Florida State, wasn't the quarterback. He was one of the things you have go really good for you last night. He ran the ball effectively. He threw for 347 yards. And I know 75 of it came on the one pass to Brian Thomas at the end. Okay. Well, then go look at Jordan Travis in his last 2 drives in the fourth quarter when the game was over and take those away as well. You can't. It's how the game plays out. So, however you want to look at it, the bottom line is you had great opportunities in the first half. You didn't capitalize. You had an opportunity to give yourself distance and build a lead in the first half and put pressure on them the way they did you late in the third quarter into the fourth quarter, and you missed your opportunities. So, next time the opportunity presents, capitalize. We'll see if they can. But they're going to do it with Jayden Daniels as their quarterback. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.